All right, welcome everybody to O365A. This is our 100th episode, and we're going to dedicate this this episode to what you should see at Ignite in terms of Microsoft Teams, and then we're going to do a quick roundtable and talk about virtual conferences and what each of us have been working on. So, Habib, why don't you kick us off? What are you looking forward to at Ignite?
Yeah, thanks, Kurt. So, couple of sessions. So the first one is Microsoft Teams thrive with hybrid work. The session code is BRK202. And given, that, I guess the area or the time that we're in with people working remotely and wanting to make their way back into the office, there's obviously going to be some sort of hybrid or mix or in-office type of sessions that, you're going to be in from a Teams perspective. So, there's a few different things that Microsoft has come out with or is coming out with, and I'm looking to see sort of what that will be in addition to some of the things that we already know, like, some types of intelligent cameras when you're in the room to be able to focus on whoever is speaking, some additional functionality or using the companion mode on the mobile device to drive meetings, being able to use Outlook to RSVP, whether you're going to be home or in the office for that particular meeting as well. There's some new hot desking devices that you can have within the office space. There's additional things like Teams for CarPlay has been is being released or has been released. And then maybe some additional things with regards to Viva Insights, daily health checks, and virtual commute. And the second session that I'm looking forward to, it's not really Teams related, but it's exploring the Zero Trust security model. Again, given that, everybody is working from home, we need to ensure that, the endpoints are fully secured, and following, the three different Zero Trust principles, which are, verify explicitly, ensuring that the user authenticated based on, all the available data points that, you get from the user when they're, when they're signing in, their location, their device, etc. Providing just the limited access that a user requires to access the type of data. And then always assume that there's a breach, right? So verify the encryption, verify the analytics that are coming into the tenant. So I'm looking to see what additional things that Microsoft is bringing into the Zero Trust security model as well. So with that, I will pass it over to Dino.
Yeah, thanks, Ab. The first session I'd recommend and that you attend, and I'm personally interested in is the Ask the Experts session for Microsoft Teams. That's CONATEBRK 205, and that's on November 3rd at 8:30 Pacific time. And that's going to be with Caruana Gatimo, Principal Program Manager at Microsoft for Teams Engineering, and Stephen Rose, Senior Product Marketing Manager for Teams. And these are always great, these ATE sessions, because you can simply just sign in and start asking away, and they'll try to answer as many questions as possible in the given time. And generally they'll try to follow up even if your question isn't answered live. So those are always great if you've got specific questions that you really can't find online, something really specific or a corner case, and the team try to do a good job at answering the question. So give that one a go. And the second one is enabling inclusive hybrid meetings with Teams and Teams devices. So this one is an on-demand session. It's OD 104, which means you can basically watch it whenever. And it's with Ilya Buchstein, who's the general manager of Teams devices. And I don't know, I have a feeling that there's going to be hopefully some announcements about some upcoming things and in meeting rooms and new ways to conduct meetings. Microsoft and other organizations have learned a lot over this past, almost 2-year COVID event, and I think some of that learning, some of those learnings are going to be transformed into new product features. So kind of a gut feeling on this one, but yeah, I'm hoping to that will produce some nuggets. So tune into that one. I think it's going to be a good one, and Ilya always does a nice job talking about the current lineup of devices in terms of Teams meetings. So always good to tune in and listen to him. And with that, what are you looking forward to, Kurt?
One of the biggest ones on my radar is OD 102, and it's seamless external collaboration with Microsoft Teams Connect, aka shared channels. This is an on-demand session, which means there's no specific time. You can just watch the session. And why this one's really important is shared channels arguably is going to be the most impactful feature in my mind ever developed and deployed for Microsoft Teams. And it's been under development for some time now, and people are really anxious to find out more of the details and, specifically when it's going to GA. The roadmap on the M365 admin portal still says November, I think like November 21st. So it's, it was scheduled to be released really soon. I don't know if they're going to make any announcements about dates, but I highly recommend attending this session so that you get more information. It's supposed to be a deep dive on shared channels. And if you haven't heard about shared channels, it's a new channel type which allows membership from outside the parent team, including external entities like partners and external team users outside your organization. You can invite them directly in the channel, and it really streamlines the whole external collaboration challenges today in Teams, where you have to create an AD guest account for that to happen. This uses a federated model where it can leverage the identity of the external user coming in. And there's a number of policies that need to be set up for this to work, both at the AD and Teams tenant level. So it'll be really interesting to get the latest, greatest information on this feature and see what's necessary to make it work, and to get a firsthand glimpse into all the new capabilities and features and functionality that shared channels will light up. So I think that's an important one. Another one on my list was, it's actually a product roundtable, which is a chance to interact with the product group team and ask questions and their focus subjects. This one, PRT015, it's named Purchase and Manage App Subscriptions in Microsoft Teams and the Teams admin portal. And I think this one's really important because IT administrators, organizations, they've struggled a bit when letting Teams apps into their Teams tenants. You can have ISV, line of business apps, third-party apps, apps developed by your organization. And many times the questions come up, how can I ensure that this app is safe and okay it for my end users? So in this roundtable, they're going to discuss how to leverage the Teams store in the Teams admin portal to evaluate and purchase app subscriptions that matter to your organization. And it's a good chance for anyone who does have concerns to actually give feedback to the team. So that'll be a really good session to get the latest and greatest on Teams app discovery, purchase, and management. So with that, Michael, what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, I've been changing which sessions I was going to talk about as I was going. I wanted to focus on something that's maybe not my day-to-day. So the first session I picked was BRK 204, which is Microsoft Viva latest innovations and roadmap for the new digital employee experience. And the reason why I like this one is it really kind of builds on to what we've been saying for a long time, that Teams is really a platform. And so now we're starting to see some unique experiences being built on top of Teams. So all the Microsoft Viva aspects have been, pretty interesting as they've gone through preview this year and now going into GA coming into November. And then, there's been some acquisitions on the Microsoft side that look like they'll be parts of Viva as well. So I'm definitely interested to see where Microsoft is taking this whole different kind of product experience. The other one I picked, again, kind of outside the core teams sessions, is BRK 234. And this is introducing voice channel for Dynamics 365 customer service. So this sounds like Microsoft's getting into the contact center game. But this is kind of for a customer that's already maybe using Dynamics CRM and then adding voice as another omni-channel experience for their customer base or their clients to kind of bring in. But I know that, with voice, been, already put into teams, that a lot of organizations are looking at these omni-channel contact centers, providing support on, social media, SMS. So it'll be interesting to see how, from a voice perspective, how we can, how much effort is to kind of get into this Dynamics customer service and these voice aspects. So I want to see where Microsoft's going. Of course, Microsoft always kind of starts off with a bite size, MVP type product, and then keeps just iterating until they have quite that impressive offering. So both Viva as well as this, voice added to customer service, I think are the starting of some pretty big offerings on the Microsoft side. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the Microsoft Tech Community Live. So this isn't happening at Ignite, but this is based on Tech Community on November 9th. This is where you can do the Ask Microsoft Anything session. So I think there's 3 or 4 sessions that are going to be occurring on November 9th. And you can just ask, the product teams and engineers all your questions, get answers kind of live with those that are in the know. So highly recommend checking out those sessions. That is after Ignite, but go check out Microsoft Tech Community to see those Ask Me Anything, Ask Microsoft Anything Teams Edition.
Awesome. That sounds great. So let's segue now into this podcast. So the big 100, the Century Club here. This is our 100th episode, and for those who aren't familiar with the podcast, of course, we're all from Canada. We're 4 Canadian MVPs, so the camera always cuts off our logo and our jersey, but this is a hockey jersey, and yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's been quite a journey, and we were all talking before this session what we're working on. And as it relates to Ignite, of course, we're all excited for all the new information coming from Ignite, but I think everybody has a bit of virtual conference fatigue. Michael, I know one of the things you've been working on is you actually got to attend a conference live, which we're all very jealous. Comms V Next, so that was last week. Why don't you tell us a little bit what that experience was like?
Yeah, so Comms V Next was in Denver last week, and that was the first in-person conference I've been to in 2 years, and also the first conference I've spoken at in front of a live audience in 2 years. So it was definitely interesting, things like just understanding all the travel protocols. I had like 3 COVID tests in a 7-day period just so I can get on and off my flights. But it kind of reiterated, that why I attend conferences, right? And that conference, the reason why I go to these conferences is really the connections and the networking with people that are, like-minded, interested in the same tech. And that's, one of the biggest loss that we've had with all these virtual conferences is we're not really getting that human connection, that, building relationships and friendships that, our podcast was built from going to a conference and saying, hey, let's put this idea together on paper and let's run on that. And that's now 100 episodes in. So I think that was truly a different experience of being in front of all these people that you've known for years, maybe been on video calls over the last 2 years, or maybe I haven't even talked to really other than like on social media. So it was great to be there in person. There was Microsoft Product Group and engineering there, so it was a really great session. Definitely miss it. So I do hope that some of these Microsoft conferences start to become in person in 2022. Maybe they'll be just the community-driven ones, but I guess we'll see how that turns out. But I think the biggest value that I've had from conferences is really that networking side that was been missed with all this kind of virtual conference fatigue that we've been hitting.
I got to ask, what was it like presenting in front of people for the first time in a long time? Was it a bit rusty, or it all?
Oh man, there was panic. I was watching the keynote, and they were struggling with the internet, and I was like, I purposely made all my session demos, and I was like, oh no, if there's no internet or the Wi-Fi is not great, all my the demo gods are going to be against me. So I ran back up to my hotel, and I just basically quickly recorded a couple of my demos just in case. But like actual presenting, just like knowing where to stand on the podium so you can see the screens, the like just even eye contact is a little bit different now, right? Because presenting on the camera, I could be looking at any of my screens, and you don't really think about that eye contact because the other party's not really looking at you, or you may have the video screens minimized. But when you're in a in live session, I mean that eye connection, that's definitely something that is hard to manage and try and get back into the swing of things of making eye contact and not being focused on your own content and presenting. So it was definitely interesting that something that was we were presenting all the time before, and then 2 years of kind of being rusty presenting in that way.
Wow. Yeah, that'll definitely take some getting used to again. I hope it happens sooner rather than later. Dino, what you've been working on?
Yeah, well, first of all, I just wanted to say it's been a privilege and an honor working with the three of you for the past 100 episodes. I think it's a pretty cool milestone, and so great working with you guys and representing the broader Microsoft community. So, and I guess, it's been a lot of the same things for me in terms of voice implementations, and those are still going strong. There's a number of, well past companies dipping their toes in the Teams space. And I think they're well beyond that. Companies are just now finding budget and time to, start enabling Teams phone systems. So working with a lot of customers on that. Whether it's greenfield or porting off DIDs from other platforms and lighting up phone system in Teams because they've already been using that and they just haven't gotten around to enabling phone systems. So doing a lot of that type of work. Still working on a few larger Skype for Business to Teams migrations. So those are always fun. They take a little bit of extra time, and some customers can be quite complex with multiple locations and analog devices and what strategy they're going to take. So I enjoy the discussions in terms of helping lead these customers into the right direction. And so, governance seems to be a very popular topic these days as well. A lot of people, want to understand about, the thing about governance is it's not just a Teams thing. I think people misunderstand and say, oh, we have to do Teams governance, deployment, workshops and understand what we have to do there. But really, they should be considering looking at governance from the whole Office 365 stack. So that seems to be a reoccurring theme daily these days. And I suspect in January, there'll be a number of projects coming up with that topic. So yeah. So how about you, Hab? What have you been up to?
Yeah, I think sort of like you, we're doing a bit of work in the governance space. I think we talked about some of this before. I'm still sort of continuing that where, organizations have already, onboarded with, M365, and now, you're going through iterations of different types of governance. And then as Microsoft releases new functionality that can enhance the security, but still sort of allow collaboration, we sort of have to investigate those and sort of what that means to the organization and, how does it affect the end user if it does any. Same with like security and compliance kind of area that I'm working in as well. And then some other customers were just enabling new services. So, like we said, we moved on to M365, but now we're sort of going through like, how do we engage them with some additional functionality like the new stream that's going to be coming out, planner, some additional functionality as well, like that they. We didn't want to hit everybody all at once with everything. I think, we wanted to give them, with some other customers, a more of a staged approach for these deployments, so that they would become accustomed to the technology and accustomed to the tool, and then we just start enabling new functionality as well. So that's sort of the stuff that I'm working on, outside of my barbecue shack that I work on. I work in the weekends. Yeah. What about you, Kurt? What are you up to these days?
Well, as you know, I work for Quest Software. We're an ISV, so there's a lot of software development stuff. I'm on the R&D side of the fence, which I have my toe in. But as it relates to Teams, Quest has a leading tenant-to-tenant Teams migration product, and you may have heard there's been changes to the APIs coming up, both Exchange and Microsoft Teams. So I've been, researching that, helping the teams, develop a plan around that. ISVs will be really paying attention to these API changes because they can affect the speed and now even cost potentially of the migration. So I've been working on that. To echo Dino's experiences too, governance is a top of mind for a number of our customers. So we have a governance product coming out, and I've been helping out there and defining what that product will do and how it will help the customers. So that's another product I've been working on. And also I've mentioned before a license management product we have. And what's interesting is in the cloud, all these services and the licenses and how they're packaged up is changing. So this product helps make sense of the licensing in a customer's tenant. So that's a big area to explore. And, I use my expertise there to help that product do some good stuff. Other than that, just trying to keep up with virtual conferences and all the rapid evolution of the Microsoft Teams product, which is pretty exciting. So with that, we'll close this out. I can't believe it's actually been 100 episodes. So to echo Dino's thoughts too, it's been really fantastic. You guys are great. We've actually had a lot of fun. I wish we could play the outtakes of all our all our sessions. That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, it's been a great
folks. Yeah. All right, folks. Well, hopefully we'll do 100 more. We'll see. And we'll catch you later. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.